Good morning over there.
Good morning, Jenny.
We are about to delve into some extremely interesting topics.
Very interesting and very difficult to talk about.
Yeah, well said.
Difficult to talk about, important to talk about, and we're going to do our best here today on Undisputed. And we begin with the latest surrounding LeBron James. After learning more details about the Ma'Khia Bryant shooting in Columbus, Ohio, LeBron apologized yesterday after posting a photo.
You see, this is why the media, the left-wing, liberal, toxic media is so dangerous. Because LeBron did not apologize. When you read those tweets after he took him down, you don't see the word apology in there. You don't see the word sorry in there. Like, he did not apologize. He doubled down on his statements. So there you go with the toxicity of the media with their fucking bullshit lies. It's so crazy, man. I mean, even ESPN, they wasn't going so hard with the lies. They was protecting LeBron, but they didn't lie too much. I mean, Max Kellerman was lying, but, you know, it's crazy, man. Like, they just start off with the blatant lie. Oh, they say he apologized. He did not apologize. Come on, man.
Of the officer involved with the caption that read, "You're next." According to reports and body cam footage that was released, Bryant was charging another woman with a knife before the fatal shooting. LeBron's apology read, quote, "Anger does none of us any good."
Once again, he did not apologize. And he did not say anger does none of us any good. He did not write those words that way. They so quick to protect this man. This man is a fucking robot. He's a pawn. That's what he is. And I'm tired of this dude. And I'm not really, injecting myself in this so much because we understand that this stuff is like, we shouldn't really take this stuff too serious. I really get frustrated with it because of the influence and the fact that you have a lot of feeble-minded people who actually take this dude serious and believe what he got to say. And they really look at what he has to say as gospel. You know what I mean? And it's so pathetic, man. It's crazy how much he's so protected by the media. That's why you cannot take what you see on TV seriously. I mean, even on Fox News, they tell you the truth. But we know for the most part, they're biased to a degree when it comes to so-called black people. But at the end of the day, they tell you the truth. They cut it straight through the middle when it comes to these cases and things of that nature. But the media, they just so left with it. They so left. They don't care about no facts at all. And that's dangerous. It really is, man.
That includes myself. Gathering all the facts and educating does, though. My anger still is here for what happened to that little girl. My sympathy for her family, and may justice prevail. Shannon, was LeBron's initial tweet out of bounds?
He was right to take it down. Right now, America, especially Black America, is in a heightened sense. We got to be careful, though, that every time a police shooting and it involves a black, that we put them all into George Floyd. We put them all into Dante Price. I think his name is Dante Price, the young man that was shot in the back.
Don't even know the man's name. His name is Dante Wright. And you see how Shannon initially just stated he was right to take it down. He didn't even answer the question of whether it was out of bounds or not, because that's all they do is coddle to this dude. They protect this dude. And it's so sad. It shows you the agenda that's pushed to where it's in their best interest for LeBron James to be this pillar for, social change, because he's an idiot. They don't want a person that has a sound mind to be the pillar or the standard. They want LeBron James because LeBron James is stupid. I'm just being real. I'm not trying to disrespect the man. Let's call a spade a spade. The man is empty-minded. Only thing he knows is basketball. He don't know nothing about no fucking social politics, no history, nothing. He can't even tell you about a goddamn Malcolm X book. But they put this man on a fucking pedestal. Why is that? Because he's bought and paid for. And he pays them off too. It's fucking ridiculous. Don't put these don't put these celebrities on a pedestal, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're dangerous. It's just like idolizing these false fucking gods. It's the same shit. Excuse my passion, brothers.
The lady thought she was using a taser. We got to be careful not to lump all of these in one case, and we're going to have to look at it and take it on a case-by-case basis. Yeah. I think LeBron maybe was a little premature because the information is that a 17-year-old was shot, and she didn't have anything. And come to find out, we see what transpired, and that's a lot different than George Floyd.
We see the he didn't even want to say we see the weapon. It's like, bro, like for once, have a spine, brother. You couldn't even address the damn KD situation, bro. It's like you can just tell that the Most High is really working on something, because day by day, you know, I ain't gonna say day by day, but we starting to really see more and more how these people are exemplifying themselves when it comes to them being exposed. They're like Kevin Durant, like the man is in the same industry as Shannon Sharp, and he's willing to go toe to toe with him on social media and call him out for his bullshit and truth and sincerity. That's something that's rare. That's how you know that this is we're nearing the end. These people that we're used to seeing on TV and shit like that, we're gonna start to see who they really are. It's just the Most High slowly but surely gonna show us. Look at LeBron motherfucking James. This man, he embodies falsehood. Just being real, man. Just being real. Even on the court, it's disingenuous because the man taking PEDs. Let's be real. Come on.
That's a lot different than the young man that was shot in the back. So we got to be careful. Also, LeBron, he made I think, even bigger
Allegedly, of course.
mistake, Skip, is by putting the officer's picture up, because it left to interpretation by what he said. Oh, he's next. And so now the people that didn't like
it left to interpretation of what he said. But he put that on himself. He put a fucking hourglass emoji, Shannon Sharp. What are you talking about? Stop trying to clean this shit up for this boy, for this guy, whatever the fuck you want to call this dude, man, for this girl. Stop it, man. It's so cringe when you watch this shit, bro, because you can tell that it's not objective at all. That's why people starting to cut it off, because they starting to see the bullshit. Or he left to interpretation. Like, bro, you said you're next, and you put a picture of the fucking officer. There's nothing to interpret. We see what he's talking about. What are you talking about, Shannon Sharp? Come on, stop it. It's just ridiculous. I get so frustrated by this, brothers, because in this time they going so hard to protect their narrative, to protect their fucking left-wing ideologies. It's so sickening, man.
That you're speaking out, doesn't like what you have to say, see, I told you. And Skip, as I was sitting there and I was thinking about this and I knew we were going to talk about this, I said, you know what? It dawned on me. This is why Michael Jordan never touched this. This is the very reasons why.
So you want to deflect and put this on Michael Jordan. And we talk about accountability, right? It's crazy. You putting this on Michael Jordan. What the fuck does Michael Jordan have to do with LeBron James' irresponsible tweet, Shannon Sharp? You disgust me, man. And who the fuck am I? I ain't nobody. But you're just disgusting. Who gives a fuck? You just disgusting, bro. It's crazy. It's sick. It's sickening, man.
He said, you know what, Skip? I would rather say nothing and have people say, well, Mike, I wish you do this, or Mike, I wish you do that, as opposed to saying something and then get skewed for it. Mm-hmm. LeBron has to know, he has to be very, very careful, because LeBron's words carry weight. And he left to interpretation. Is he really putting a picture of this officer up saying he's next? That was left to interpretation. I don't believe that's what LeBron meant, but that's what's left to interpretation. And without, Skip, when you and I talk, you know.
So what you thought he meant? It happened in the midst of the trial that was going on with Derek Chauvin. Obviously, he meant that he was next in regards to him being convicted and found guilty the same way Chauvin did. And other people can interpret it as, you know, inciting violence. So come on, Shannon Sharp, stop with the naivety, brother. Stop it, man.
Exactly where we stand. Sometimes tweets, sometimes picture doesn't tell the whole story of what a person is trying to convey. That's what I love about this show. We have 2.5 hours, and we get an opportunity. There is no middle ground. There is no misunderstanding. where Shannon Sharp or Skip Bayless stand on a particular topic, because we've had an opportunity to lay out what we want to say and how we want to say it. I just think the thing is that Skip, because America's on edge right now, and we might have jumped the gun, and I don't think LeBron was the only one that jumped the gun. I mentioned it yesterday when I was talking about Derek Chauvin guilty, but once you see the footage, and you're like, okay, that's a very different situation than George Floyd. Now, I get some people are going to say, it's funny how the officers show discretion and restraint in certain situations when the roles are reversed. When,
Bro, this is just a bunch of hanging fruit, bro. This is crazy, man. This is why you should not trust the motherfucking media, man. This is why. Because he's saying a bunch of dumb shit. A bunch of hanging fruit or fucking red herring. And this fucking video right here is ratioed. That's how you know that this is insanity. This is insane thought right here, man. What are you talking about? Just be a man and give the man criticism. Show some decency when it comes to being objective. He was wrong. And that's that. Like, what the fuck, bro?
The victim, this little young lady, Ma'Khia Bryant, is a victim now. When she's
not a victim,
when
man.
She's black, and we've seen white, say, well, swinging knives and doing things and everything. They talk to him and they do all they can to just de-escalate the situation. But I just think the thing was LeBron was on edge, considering what just happened with the George Floyd situation. And you hear in his home, Skip, he's from Ohio.
How was he on edge if it was justified in his view? Why would you be mad if you learned that he was convicted? Like, because Chris Paul, he even kind of like alluded to it by saying, even though, Chauvin was found guilty, that doesn't mean that everything is okay. But for the most part, that's how a lot of people feel, right? So, like, how is he on edge? And you justifying it by taking up for him and basically pandering to his emotions. You justifying it with utilizing emotion. It's emotion over rationale. That's what you're doing. Oh, he was on edge. He was emotional. Come on, bro. Stop it. And I'm not being harsh, man. It's just annoying because it's constant propaganda. I'm not being harsh at all, man. I know a lot of people are going to listen to this video and be like, yo, he going a little too hard. He a little too passionate. At the end of the day, man, we have to understand what's right. And they trying to skew up the right each and every turn. With every case, every situation that they highlight to the masses. And it's a reason why they do that, because all these situations are happening, but they only highlight certain ones for esoteric purposes, as well as inciting certain emotions and stupid ass people who don't understand facts and don't assess facts. Just like with Jacob Blake, just like with George Floyd, just like with this case. Everything is just emotional because of the deaths at the hand of a fucking white cop. When 9 times out of 10, it wasn't at the behest of no emotional thought. No racist thought. It was just doing their job. Now, in the case of George Floyd, that was more ritualistic than anything, but that's a deep understanding. That's something for another video. That's on my main channel that I'm not able to operate right now, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, let's just continue on with the video. Excuse me, y'all.
I think this is in Columbus. Mm-hmm. So not right around the corner from Cleveland, but it's still, it's his whole, neck of the woods. And I think the bigger mistake was putting the officer's picture up, and then because he left to interpretation, and that's what you don't want to happen.
You think? That was the biggest mistake. You put this man's face on Twitter to the national public, to the masses. You as a grown man, you 36 years old. Shouldn't you have, an astute mind enough to where you able to assess something first? Or shouldn't you have just a regular thought, just a general thought of, let me think about this before I send this? Like, as a grown man, putting up a picture of another man in regards to, you targeting him, because that was a vibration that was pushed. It was like a target kind of tweet. That's not something that's of the mind of a 36-year-old man. That's like a teenager kind of thing. That's like teenagers do shit like that. That's why I say LeBron is a little kid, man. He is, man. He's just a spoiled little child, man, that just lives on social media and lives in his own little delusional world. That's why he did that. Because that's not the act of a grown man. Grown men don't do shit like that. They don't. Ain't no grown man gonna jump the gun and say some shit like "you're next" just to look like he cool. That, like, it seems like LeBron does things to look cool for social media. It's ridiculous, man.
Happen. You don't want people to speculate what you mean. And those that do not like LeBron and were waiting for this opportunity to pounce, he gave them that opportunity.
He gave him that opportunity. No, bro, it's not about not liking LeBron James, man. It's so crazy how much, they going so hard at trying to defend this dude. But let me just read up on this article, man, because it just sheds light onto certain people who are objective in regards to the media, especially the media that we would deem as left, because this is on the same network, but at least you got people that are objective. So it says, Fox Sports' Marcellus Wiley criticized LeBron James on live television for posting a tweet targeting a police officer who shot a 16-year-old black girl in order to save another teen's life. I want to actually pray that his founders' profoundness matches the power of his platform, he said on Thursday during Speak for Yourself. Dog, you can't do this. You can't be that irresponsible if you're LeBron James, because you have that you have that much power. And we all know when you get that type of power, that responsibility comes with it. My phone is cracked a little bit, so that's why it's kind of hard for me to see what I'm reading, but just bear with me. Wiley called James' follow-up tweet about accountability ironic and explained how it exposes his weaknesses. There's one glaring critique on his resume, that he defers at critical times. Damn, I wish that was true in this moment when it's a real issue, not just basketball wins and losses. And that's a great point. He does defer at critical times, and this is a critical time. Scored when it's real life issues. Let me just read back. Not just basketball wins and losses and points scored when it's real life issues. Wiley said, where is the deferring in that moment until all the facts come out? Until you watch the video? Until you come out and see what's right from wrong in this situation? You want to be first, not right. And that's a great assessment by Wiley, because, that's basically what it was. You just wanted to be first. You didn't care about being right. You cared about being first, because of the social media frenzy that you caught up in, to where that's where you get your validation from. Very, very dangerous, man. Very dangerous. So it says, dear parents, especially men, and notice how he emphasizes men, because that's what's missing in this society in regards to the element and the impact of how it's essential for men to understand how to raise their children according to manhood. Next time there's a fight with kids in your neighborhood, please regulate the situation before police arrive. We should be the ones controlling our children, not standing around while they are stabbing each other. Accountability. Notice he didn't point out the police in regards to, not standing around while police comes and shoot our queens or our babies. No, he ain't say no dumb shit like that. In the midst of all this craziness, with all this biasness, we have to understand what the root of all these problems are. It's not police. It's us. It's our communities. We need to understand how to regulate our environment, our children, and it starts in the household. It doesn't start with motherfucking listening to a guy like LeBron James with his nonsense, trying to lead you astray with his stupid ass irresponsible tweets. You should look at tweets like this so you can understand the rationale and the logic. So respect to Boyce Watkins for his tweet, because it's logical and it's rational,
It's pretty clear to me that LeBron, in this case, leaped before he looked closely at what had happened. I'm not going to criticize him for it. I'm definitely not going to condemn him for it because of what you just provided in the way of context.
What context did he provide? He didn't provide any fucking context. He was clunky. He was clunky in his assessment of what LeBron James did. He didn't provide no goddamn context. And it's in Skip's best interest to not criticize LeBron James because, like I said, they need LeBron James to be the face of social change when it comes to, the sports athlete. They need it to be a LeBron James because LeBron James is a fucking idiot. It can't be a person that's astute and that's smart and that understands things. It has to be a LeBron James. So that's why, Skip Bayless is not going to criticize him because this is like a little spoiled child doing this. You know what I mean? Like a person that don't know no better. If this was a person that was of a higher standard when it comes to intelligence, then he would have been criticized. Other people criticizing LeBron James because they understand, it's not in their best interest. You know what I mean? They don't have nothing to gain from it. Skip has something to gain from it because he's liberal. He's on the left wing. You know what I mean? Like Max, all these dudes, they taking up for him. But all these other people, when it comes to the conservative whites, they like whatever because they see the bullshit. But at the end of the day, it's in the liberals' best interest because they know that LeBron James is an idiot. So they want idiotic rhetoric to be the influence on the so-called black masses. So therefore, they're not your best friend. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. That's why Skip Bayless is not criticizing LeBron James. Any other situation, he would have criticized LeBron James. Skip Bayless is known to criticize LeBron James. You know what I mean? That's why he's not criticizing him.
Emotions are running hot and high right now. The irony is this incident took place about a half hour before we all heard the verdict from Minneapolis on Derek Chauvin.
Correct.
Which is almost mind-bogglingly incomprehensible to me in the first place. But it did happen because life goes on.
It was just like Skip. I said the guy's name was Deontay Price. Is Deontay Wright.
Right.
Deontay Wright. And remember, he died. The trial was just going on with Derek Chauvin. It was 10 miles away. So you're dealing with that. You have this and you have this.
You dealing with that. You have this. Like, bro, like this is not a fucking soap opera, bro. We acting like these are the main three things that happen over the course of, the last weeks or what have you. This shit happens every fucking day. This is how you know they disingenuous about these things. You talking about this as if this is like these things happen within the events of a fucking like episodes and shit. Like, bro, this shit happen every day. LeBron James, you fucking tweeting out you're next about an officer who saved the life of a fucking black girl, a black queen, like you say. He stopped black on black crime. Yo, what happened to the world, y'all? What the fuck is happening to the world? This is how you know that this shit is nearing the end. Because we are at a level of insane thought. Insane, irrational thought. This shit is wicked as hell, man. It's crazy, dog. The fuck?
Young lady on top of that.
So, obviously, LeBron caught up in the runaway emotions that everybody in this country is feeling on different levels.
Correct.
But he at the high.
You see what the media does? They always think that they could just speak for people. Like, how do you know that everybody feeling emotional about this shit? Not everybody really care about the bullshit, man. I'm not saying that, you should poo-poo a situation where a man gets killed. All I'm saying is don't speak for people, man. They do that shit all the time. These liberals, man, they think they just have this presumption of thought where they could just speak for everybody. Like, everybody's feeling emotional on edge about what's happening in America. Like, America is upset. Like, stop that shit, bro. You people are so delusional, man. These fucking liberal left-wing motherfuckers. Like, that's the power of the devil. I'd rather a motherfucker tell me how they feel rather than fucking lying to me about how they motherfucking feel, man. Because that's what Skip Bayless, that's what Max Kellerman, that's what they do, man. Fucking, oh man, it's ridiculous. Excuse me, y'all. It's crazy, man.
Highest level.
Correct.
He overreacted. Mm-hmm. As millions of people do on a daily basis on these social mediums.
Correct.
They can be incredibly dangerous. We've all been victims of, we've all gone wrong on social media where even if I can take it down to almost irrelevant game tweets that we all do. Every once in a while, you tweet something on the fly in the middle of a game, and then you find out after the game, oh, it was that way.
Right,
oh, I
right,
didn't know that.
right.
Well, how can you know? You're tweeting in the heat of the moment.
Exactly.
So we've all.
You see how they do that, man? You see how they compare two things that are totally separate? This is why you should not trust the motherfucking media, man. You should not trust what you, and you know, if you have a sound enough mind, if you have a mind that's strong enough to where you can identify the different shades of gray and identify the bullshit, then that's a blessing. But for the people who have a tough time understanding like how to gauge things, or have a tough time with, you know, them being so zealous, you cannot trust the motherfucking media, man. You cannot trust the media. You cannot. You know, I'm having a child, and when I have my child, I'm gonna make sure, you know, I make a concerted effort to teach him or her that it's important for her to understand that the media and TV, you know, it's not in our best interest, or it's not in his best interest. You know, I'm gonna get him more acclimated to reading books and things of that nature, understanding, you know, the tangible and intangible things. But when it comes to tangible, I'm just talking about being more interactive with things as opposed to being caught up in this social media vortex that we in.
Been guilty of that.
Correct.
Obviously, LeBron James has the most powerful platform in all of sports, and you can argue one of the most powerful platforms in the world.
Correct.
And he has done nothing but great when it comes to social justice, racial justice, campaign.
You could tell that Skip is not really, he's not really being truthful when he says what he's saying. He's not. And, you know, I just wanted to cover this a little bit. You can tell that these people, they just go to great efforts and great lengths to basically coddle and protect their golden boys. And LeBron James is their golden boy when it comes to him being utilized, you know, as a useful pawn. That's what he's being used for. He's just an idiot. He's a person that's empty-minded. He doesn't understand what's actually going on when it comes to, you know, society at large. I'm not talking about basketball. I'm just talking about when it comes to society and politics and things of that nature. Even though most of it is fluff, but he don't even understand that. You know, he don't understand the fluff. All he understands is narratives and, you know, what Nike tell him to do and what China tell him to do. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is, man. But, you know, don't pay attention to none of this shit. Don't take this stuff serious, man. It's not for us, y'all. But thank y'all. Peace. God bless.